there is no sports law. There's no codified sports bill. There's no sports law in India as such, right? So it's servicing the sports industry as a lawyer. Effectively, that's what sports law is. Now, there are many allied fields from which you can get experience which would be transplantable into that. So a simple example, like Aahna mentioned, was, if you're doing a rights deal for a sports person, it's no different than doing a rights deal for any other individual. It's intellectual property law. You need to understand how contract law and intellectual property law kind of intersect, and you have to know how to draft a contract. You still got to know how to draft an indemnity clause or a limitation or liability clause or a payment terms. You need to understand the payment terms, how the industry works. You need to know what are the payment terms in that particular industry to be able to adequately advise your client. So it is a misnomer. Sports law is definitely a misnomer, and I like Aahna's usage of law and sport. Right, it's effectively how you service that industry. And this is something which people don't realize from outside, and they think it's all glory and all. It's not. It's as painstaking legal work as you would do for any other industry client. The only difference is this particular industry is not a very developed industry. That's why it's a niche area. Otherwise, you have hundreds of banking lawyers in India, corporate and litigation, because banking is a 500-year-old industry, right? It's an organized industry. It has industry standards. It's got industry practices, which everybody within the industry, from the lawyers to the bankers themselves, know. And the law itself is where you can add value, and therefore you become a banking lawyer. So it's no different. It's a niche area which has a smaller demand, right? The demand, and actually that's been, in fact, if I could say, would be one of the challenges for any boutique sports law practice, is that if there's a big sports law client and they say have an already existing relationship with a tier 1 law firm, a tier 1 law firm person pitching to them for their sports related work will say, listen, you don't need real industry experience. We can do it with our intellectual property experience and the other media and entertainment work that we do. It's transplantable, and to a large extent it is. And if that person spends time and studies the industry and talks to the right people and takes the right learnings, they can also possibly do a great job for that particular client. So it's not that it's definitely not rocket science. That I can definitely say. It's just about applying the tools you have to that particular industry.